Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Night Therapy, where 5 friends from across time and space come together for some much-needed, cathartic Dungeons & Dragons. How are we all this evening?
Fucking
Good
fantastic.
Amazing.
All right.
Brilliant. I almost believed some of you. Right, so yes, we're back in the D&Ds, as the kids probably don't say. So yeah, before we get started, my blurb. So silence, please. All maps in this stream or video, depending where you're watching it, were created using assets from Forgotten Adventures. A whole bunch of tokens used were also obtained from Forgotten Adventures. They are super cool. Go check them out. www.forgotten-adventures.net. There'll be a link to the website in the chat and also in the description of this video. There we go. Past me sounds so much better than current me. Not totally because I didn't EQ the shit out of my voice or anything. Right then. So, do we have any announcements? Anything interesting? Anybody?
I don't think we do. Just a reminder that we do. We have Neverwinter Wednesdays. On Mondays, just to confuse people. No, it's on Wednesdays. Don't be silly. We have a one shot that we did last week that was absolutely hilarious. Thank you very much, Sean. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It's on the YouTubes, as the kids also don't say.
Currently, there are no plans to stop over the Christmas period. So we will be going each Thursday with this campaign, unless something happens, and then we'll figure it out like we normally do.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes, we are masters of playing it by ear.
Absolutely.
Indeed. All right, then. So, with that out of the way, let's go in to the game.
Corridors and rooms were all that covered the area around us. It wasn't long before the darkness seemed to take its hold and seemed to come alive. Literally. A fray with some kind of shadow creatures took us by surprise, and that grey fellow even seemed to take some damage that appeared to disfigure him in some way. I hope this doesn't persist. Moving away from this area, we found another room with a fountain and some kind of runic symbols around this large, ashy fire pit. Ominous to say the least, and better judgment told us we should leave this room well alone. We found a comfortable room, which actually seemed fairly homely, and we decided to take a rest to recover some health and speak of our past experiences. Grey and Rune told us of what happened to their demise, and Fichte told of what he had gone through. We all had fallen in the same year, and it seemed too much of a coincidence with what was going on in the world. I gave them my story about how I came to end up here. This I still do not know entirely, and why my friend Volis is no longer with me. He is not of this realm anymore, but I still feel him. Maybe once we are clear of this place, he may come back to me. It feels like no time at all, but yet the entirety of existence could have passed since I last saw him. We wandered further around this place, finding small nooks and odd places, but nothing of an advance to get us out of this place. We could not go back, and the way forward shut to us. The one area we had not searched was the cave we entered on the way in. Cobwebs everywhere, and a body slumped in the corner. Webs seemed to entangle it. What would come of it if we were to disturb this web? Fichte, our new friend, took a handle of this situation, and with swiftness and ease, he plunged an arm in and withdrew a set of keys from a pouch with not a tendril of web moved. This gave us our way forward, and it allowed the 3-keyed door to be opened. The cave system at the end of these stairs opened to reveal a nature that seemed so far out of place, and the most beautiful tree that reminded me so much of home. At least 100 foot tall with purple and pearl foliage. We waited for a while on the wisdom of the large displacer beast before the big purple bugbear returned at full sprint. He seemed hurt, but still plenty of life to carry on. A worry in his voice. He brought forward his axe with a surge of energy, and the tree seemed to open with a magical doorway. Purple light bathed upon us, and the colourful woods of the Feywild sprawled before us. Homeward bound, I guess.
Brilliant. Thank you, Taral. And so,
Thank you.
As he said, as you step through the open doorway of your of the tree that is open up before you, purple light streams past you.
Oh,
Ooh.
sorry. Like several pictures flashed up at once, but I think it's just the screen loading.
Purple light streaming past you, through you. Compared to the darkness and the cold damp of the caves and underdark area that you were just in, the warmth is pleasant upon your skin, but doesn't warm you as well as it might do. Stepping forward, you are immediately dazzled by a light in the sky. There's a sky, but not directly above you. Spreading out in front of you, what appears to be a shantytown of sorts. A circle all around as you step out onto fragrant grass. Hide tents. Fires burning. People walking back and forth. The sky is a warm twilight. You look up and see nothing but the canopy of a tree above you. Purple leaves. But looking back behind you, a trunk enormous compared to the one that you just walked through. This is the tree. The trees that you've seen in the Prime Material before are just lesser reflections of this. This is the tree. Its trunk is immense and would take a person a full minute to walk around completely. The canopy of branches and purple leaves above spread out dozens of feet in all directions, completely blocking out the sky. The smell in the air is of the last day of summer, an evening as it tips gently over into autumn. Twilight fields are warmed by the sun. Fragrant grass gently crushes underfoot. Compared to where you've just been, this could be somebody's paradise. And as you feel the presence of Bonk appear behind you, and Nadia steps up beside you, there are people who are clearly waiting. And people of all races and all different colours. There are elves, there are dwarves, halflings, there's a few orcs. And as they spy Bonk, they stand up and they walk forward, and you hear a small groan from the bugbear behind you, like, oh no, oh, I forgot about this. And in unison, you can call him down, you can call him TT, you can call him. As they put their hands up to their heads to make the sign of antlers. He's like, oh, guys, I've told you before. No, okay? I know. You appreciate me, but this has got to stop. This is embarrassing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Grey and Rune. Listen, I've tried to stop them, but they just don't.
Bonk's got a cold.
Wow.
And as
Rune just kind of like looks at Bonk with his eyes wide and is just trying to take it all in, doesn't really say anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for a bugbear to look sheepish, but he's doing a good job currently.
What are these creatures, if I can ask?
People of all different races.
Okay.
Humans, elves, a few orcs dotted around, a couple of tieflings, halflings.
Just a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
An absolute mix. Nothing,
a rabble.
No race more prominent than any other.
Probably more humans, but then that tends to be the way of the world in general.
Okay.
Yeah, this is essentially a microcosm of what you might see.
And sorry, just so I understand, what are they wearing? This is all quite relaxed. Like they don't seem to be warriors. They seem to be like maybe townsfolk is the wrong word, but
yeah,
like,
I mean,
common folk.
Yeah, no one's wearing armor. No one's wearing robes or kind of expensive clothing. This all appears to be stuff that may have been stitched together on the fly, kind of thing. This is it shares a aesthetic with the style of the tents that are around.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
which is kind of ramshackle and chucked together.
Yeah.
So looking upon them, might one surmise that these are actually refugees?
Potentially, yes.
Okay. I will actually turn around and say, Bonk, who are these people?
Yeah, this has been added to the list of things you're going to have to explain.
Yeah. So these are, I guess you could call them my people, but they're not really my people. I don't take ownership of them. I've just kind of rescued them. Kind of.
Sorry, just how many were there roughly?
Oh, well, I mean, stood in front of you, there's probably about 24. But looking at behind them, these tents stretch out quite far, and they stretch out in all directions around you. None of them are beneath the canopy of the tree, though. There is basically a circle of open ground up to the point where the branches end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Looking, further afield, as it were, you can see that the tents closest to the tree itself are clearly the oldest, and as they spread out further, they become a bit more architecturally stable. Some of them have, some of them begin to look like huts rather than tents, and even further back from that, there are maybe one or two which look like they may have been made of stone.
Okay.
So yeah, Bonk. It's like, right, yeah, okay, right, everyone. Thank you. Yes, it's good to be back. I'll talk to you all soon. I need to get these guys just sat down. We need to have a chat. All right. So off you go. And he kind of makes a shooing motion with his hands.
Yeah, a chat would be good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions.
I'm still very confused by all of this.
Yeah, well, I will do my best to explain. Now then, so, first of all, I want you to meet somebody else, and then I think we should have a rest, because I think I might be bleeding just a bit. So if you follow me, and he walks ahead.
Yeah, keep pace.
The bear.
I would be looking at everyone else around us. I know these people, I trust these people in our group, but I don't know anybody else, so I am very much wary of anything else that's happening at this point.
Yep, that's fair. And you are drawing a lot of attention. Clearly Bonk himself is known to all these people, and as he passes, people are putting up their hands in the sign of the antlers. You see children running around, again, all different races. Some of them have green painted twigs strapped to their heads. And they're running around going, I'm Father Bonk, I'm going to rescue everybody. Like, no, it's my turn to be Father Bonk. You were Father Bonk last time.
Father. Oh, dear.
No.
Amazing.
Bonk has a religion. What have I done? Oh, God. This is not what I had in mind when I made Bonk all those years ago.
Part of this campaign is going to be having Bonk ascend, I think.
The dude, oh Christ. I know his stat block.
Literally.
Yeah. I know his stat block. Him ascending is... Wow.
Scary.
Okay. Yeah.
Very.
This is great.
Yeah. So as you're making your way through, there's well-trodden paths in between the domiciles, and as you're walking along, can you all give me perception checks, please?
Oh my.
I'm sure we can. Some of us. Perception check.
Um,
There we go.
A 23 for Fick.
Very good.
A 20 for Rune. Strangely.
14 for Taral.
8 for Grey.
So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a particularly hard one, but yeah. So as you're walking along, you can see that each of the tents is lit from within by a kind of not exactly white light, but an off-white light. And through the tent flaps that are open, you can see lanterns, basic kind of glass lanterns with handles on top, but they appear to have a light glowing that's floating within the glass. And this is uniform across pretty much all of the tents and proto-yurts and whatnot that you see as you walk along. Everyone is stopping and watching. Some people are stopping and praising. Some people are just stopping and staring. And occasionally someone will stop Bonk, and you'll hear like, Father Bonk, we require some more. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I'll deal with it. I just need to. I've got guests, guys. All right, can I just please? I want to get to. I just want to sit down. All right.
I'm pulling my hood up and shrinking as much as possible and making myself as unseen as humanly possible.
So as you're walking along, the ground is mostly flat all the way along here, almost unnaturally so. But as you get closer, you see rising up out of the ground is basically a dome of earth, a hillock, which is probably just a bit taller than Bonk is. It rises up in a kind of dome semicircle, and as you approach, you see there is a door or a hole cut into it, and around it clearly offerings have been left, flowers, bits of food, little dolls with little tiny green antlers. And Bonk stops and looks and just kind of right, steps on through. There's a curtain in the doorway. There's no actual door. He pushes it to one side, steps in, holds the curtain for you, and gestures you to come in.
Very quickly follow.
Yeah. So you step inside. This is a dome made out of earth, essentially. Doesn't appear to be anything holding it up. It is just a kind of dome of, darkish dirt seen from beneath. There's a bed. There's a kind of rug on the floor. Not a great deal more than that, to be honest, in here, but it's clearly been used a fair amount. Bonk walks in, kind of sits down on the bed and puts his head in his hands. I am so sorry. I've tried, and I've tried, and I've tried. I tell them I don't want to be worshipped. I don't want to be praised. But they seem to think that that's me being kind of... I don't know what the word is.
Modest?
Modest, exactly. They think I'm being modest, and which makes them want to worship me more. I mean, I like. It's not like I can't get angry with them. What am I going to do? See, like, oh no, I'm gonna cut you down with my axe. No, of course I'm not going to. I just don't know how to make them stop. Anyway, we can stop. We can breathe. We're safe here.
Does that mean we can ask questions?
In a bit. I know I said I would give you answers, but I have just been fighting a hell wolf for a little bit in a lava field. So, I'm feeling a little bit, tired. So if you don't mind, I might have a quick kip.
No, fair enough.
I'll recommend you guys do the same. And then, and he stands up again. One more person we need to see. He will be very upset if I don't tell him as soon as I got home, alright? Right. In fact, you guys you might as well meet him as well, right? Follow me. So he heads back out the door. And starts going off at the kind of perpendicular to, from the doorway. Doesn't go back towards the tree, but kind of goes off to the side. And looking over at the tree now that you're a fair distance away, it is immense. It is huge. It is almost perfectly domed at the top. Just leaves and branches, just the sheer vibrant colour of it. But it is very, very similar to the sky, which is twilight. And it is a beautiful twilight. Looking off to the horizon, you can see the landscape just stretches, but it's almost completely devoid of anything. You can see what look like trees in the distance, but when you look closely for more than a couple of minutes, you realise that they're a bit blurry, as if they're not quite realised. Heading off through the tents again, you see that there is actually a long stone building. Sticks out quite a bit from this particular area of the of all the tents. And Bonk makes a beeline for it. Again, no door here. Just pushes a kind of heavy leather curtain back. And as you step in behind him, you see that this is very much a room of two halves. Because on one side, it appears to be a blacksmith, or approximation of. There's an anvil, there's a forge built into one of the back walls, and a quite burly human is kind of working away over in the corner, hammering a bit of metal. And then looking on the other side is what appears to be some sort of explosion in a glass factory, but frozen in time. It is a mess. There are tables with apparatus on them, which you have no idea what they are. Twisted glass. There are herbs lying around. There's bits of skin, bits of fur. There seem to be glowing lights in glass jars. Things are bubbling in the background, but you can't see where they are. And nestled amongst all of this is a very tiny reptilian figure with his back to you. And as Bonk steps in, he's, Snicked, we're back. And the tiny little creature jumps visibly, drops a glass in front of him, which smashes and scatters everywhere. Oh no! I'm sorry, Lord Bonk. Once again, I dropped the glass, but I'm so glad to see you back. It's so good to see you again. And turning around is a very small kobold.
Kobolds, love them.
And on his head are two kind of steampunk style goggles. And he
cool.
He walks over, scampers over and grabs hold of Bonk's leg. You know how I miss you, Bonk, when you go. I worry so much. He says, yes, I know. I came to you as soon as I got back. I knew that you'd worry that Nadia comes in and picks up the kobold with her tentacles and kind of lifts him up in the air. He says, Nadia, no, I do not like this. Put me back down. And she puts him down, and he kind of scritches between has to reach up to scratch between her eyeballs. He goes, little Bonk. Who are your guests? He's, well, this is Grey. And, this is Rune. And this is Fichte and Taral.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
And when he says, Rune and Grey, the kind of reptilian eyes widen. He goes, but Father Bonk, did you find them? Is this them? Yes, finally. I have... It's... The orb was right, okay? I know that you were worried about us using it, but it showed us where we need to go. How's the patient? And the Cabal was like, oh, yeah. No change, I'm afraid. No. He is the same as when you brought him back to us. Nothing seems to be wrong, but he just does not wake up. And he walks over to behind one of the desks, and you see behind there's actually a kind of a cot, and lying upon it is a human in what appear to be wizard's robes, which stand out quite clearly from everything else that you've seen, which everything is quite patchwork, whereas this has clearly been tailored. And Bump was like, oh, right, well, have you been able to do anything else with the orb? I was like, well, Father Bonk, you know that I'm not very good with learning new magics that I do not create myself. So no, I have not really touched it. Bonk walks forward and goes, well, give it here, I'll look after it for a bit. And the Cabal walks off and comes back with an orb. With what appears to be almost an eye floating inside it. And as Bonk takes it, he turns to Rune and Grey. Says, I know we didn't see it the first time round, but well, I thought it might as well. This is the Eye of the Beholder.
Oh, this is what we were looking for?
Yeah. I don't think it's coincidence that I found it.
Where did you find it?
Well, that is going to be part of the answers. But it is this that led me to where you were. And I very much like to ask the bloke over there who had it, but he won't wake up. We've got a few. We've got a few medics here, knocking around. A few people who know the herbage, but yeah, he's not waking up.
Where did you find
how long
him?
has he been like this?
We've had him here. Well, actually, I mean, time's a bit wonky, actually. But I think I've had him here for about 2 weeks, and I found him out in the world, which in itself is a bit odd.
Can I...
This world?
No.
Oh.
Can I approach this fella?
Yep.
Can I examine him just have a look, but I'm not going to be looking for like physical issues. I think I'm, or at least I think I'm smart enough to work out that this is probably some sort of magical affliction rather than a common illness. So could I maybe do like an Arcana check to see if I can recognize any sort of arcane hints as to what maybe...
Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
I would like to help with that, but can I give Grey advantage?
Yes.
While they approach him, can I very quickly just say to Bonk, Herr Bonk?
Yes?
You said it was... You found him in the world. But this is not the world? Where are we?
We are in what I believe was the Twilight Court.
I'm
Is that
going
something-
to need
Twilight
some more
Court?
than that.
What do you mean was the Twilight Court?
Yeah, so Taral, you would very likely have heard of this before, and obviously Grey and Rune may remember
Yes.
this. So yeah, Taral, you will know this as one of the 4 provinces of the Feywild.
Yes.
Which I have written down here somewhere. Yes, it was the Dawn Orchard, the Noon Garden, the Twilight Court, and the Midnight Atrium. Twilight Court was generally known for being quite tricksy.
Mischievous.
Mischievous, yes. Not exactly out-and-out evil, but maybe known to be stretching their influence maybe a little bit further than was absolutely necessary.
Troublesome.
Troublesome, yes. But yeah, so it was one of the 4, one of the quarters that made up the Feywild. The majority of the Feywild that wasn't just actual wild, wild trees, forests, plains, and all that stuff. Bonk says, was again answers.
So this is the Feywild.
Yes. What's left of it?
So, Underdark and Feywild. This is one hell of a death.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you did. You guys did a roll, didn't you? Right. So, Grey.
Yep, I rolled a 24.
You did
with
indeed.
advantage.
So you approach the recumbent figure. So you try and extend your senses towards him, rather than giving him a medical once-over. You're trying to give him a spiritual once-over. And you place your hand upon his chest. You can feel his heart beating very, very slowly. But you don't feel much else. You would expect to feel, with this kind of, with you focusing like this on the body, given your connection to Shalyn previously, you would expect to feel the warmth of a spirit within the body, but that appears to be missing.
Can I interpret that, or would I interpret that as this being something like a soulless body? Like the body isn't dead, but the soul is currently elsewhere?
That would be a good summation, yes.
Okay, I would say something of the like to the others in the room. It's like the body is still alive, but I think his soul is elsewhere.
Well,
but where I don't know.
Well,
yeah, I didn't consider that. That would be awkward.
That is difficult.
I am no help there.
It's also annoying because I really want to ask him where he came from.
You all seem to have much more magic experience than me, so I'm out.
Let me have a look. Let me have a think. So again, Rune isn't really sure what he's doing. He feels very, very, very different in a number of different ways. Obviously, last session he kind of found out or surmised that Cord was no longer around. his connection to his original deity has either been severed or the god just isn't there anymore. It's been replaced by something else. But with that, a new kind of magics have taken hold. And whilst he doesn't really understand it, he kind of intuitively feels it, I think, more than anything. So he's going to put his hand to his chest and say a kind of like a silent prayer to whatever it is that has chosen to spare him. And he's going to lay the other hand on this person's chest and cast Revivify.
Okay. So, attempting to tap into this new power that was in the city, it's similar to accessing the power that you had from Cord. It's almost like a muscle memory.
Yeah.
But rather than the kind of fiery temper of the magic coming through, it's a much colder, much darker feeling magic. And as you reach into yourself to touch this wellspring inside you, and you touch your hand to the chest of the person in front of you, you feel the magic flow through you and into the body. But at the same time, in your head there is a flash of a checker floor, wings flapping in the darkness. Spell has been cast, but there is no change.
But I did at least get a flash of a memory and possible connection.
Yes.
Because I was... Sorry, it's been so long. I was there at the Raven Queen's place, wasn't I?
Mm-hmm.
So I will remember that. Okay. Well, that kind of like settles things definitively for him then. Did I find that out last session, or just that Cord was gone? I can't remember. Sorry.
There was a moment. I think both you and Fichte.
Yes.
You were both resting, taking a short rest, and yeah, you both had a flash of vision.
Okay.
Just a quick aside. Do remember with spellcasting, you do need components for some things.
Oh, I can't remember if we said that was something we were doing. Did we house rule that we weren't going to use components, or did I imagine that?
I think we did, but when it comes to things like this, where the diamond is kind of integral,
right,
in the actual spell. But for this, I mean, in this instance, I'll let it slide.
No.
Yeah.
That's a question for me later then, because obviously I'm not playing a spellcaster, but who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
With spell components, are we doing it the standard way where a spell focus covers things that don't have a cost, or are we doing it in a new way?
Spell focuses will cover pretty much everything. When it comes to Revivify and a Hero's Feast, for instance, where you need like 10,000 gold or something worth of.
Hero's Feast is a 1,500 gold chalice that gets consumed by the spell.
So for that kind of thing, where a component has a monetary value, like you said, I will require that. So, for instance, Revivify would require the diamond, but would only require a spell focus for the rest of it.
Okay. Right, cool.
So it's standard rules where if it costs something, you need it, but if it has no attributed cost next to it, it's covered by the spellcasting focus.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Good to know. Cool. I wanted that clarification as well.
Yeah.
Right. So at some point, I'm going to have to get myself a focus then.
Well, a focus can be a holy symbol or something blessed or something.
Yeah.
There's various different rules for it. But sorry, ignore me. Do continue.
No, it's good.
It's all good. No, we needed this clarification before heading forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. So you you reach out, touch the recumbent body. Nothing happens, but you do get that flash of a flash of memory potentially. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you definitely recognise it.
All right. Cool. Alrighty. All right. So I will turn to Gray because he's right next to me, and I'll say, "Well, I tried something. It didn't work, but I'm pretty sure it's the Raven Queen was lending me her power."
What makes you say that?
Well, I tried to revive this man, and when I reached in for the power and cast the spell, I had a flash of memory, a checkerboard floor, and the Raven Queen's realm, and a flapping of wings.
You mean where we saw her?
Where we met her?
The Cave of Lights, was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was her guiding my hand.
Can I turn to Fichte and Taral and ask them, do you two have any connection to the Raven Queen?
Sadly, no.
Maybe?
I mean, we're all friends here. I mean, we literally met her once, so don't be shy about it.
Yeah, that scares me. Okay. You say we are all friends here.
Well, I mean...
So if I say something that you might not like, you'd rather talk about it than kill me, yeah?
Of course.
I mean, I'd like to say we're reasonable fellas. There's a limit to that to that agreeableness, but I think.
Okay, who am I standing next to?
Okay, so you would have entered the room. So Bonk went in first. Both Gray and Rune are over by the slumbering wizard. So it's very likely that both you and Taral are probably still by the doorway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so. Probably just inside.
Yeah.
I am going to pick Taral's pocket directly in front of him as he's looking at me.
Okay.
While we're all looking at you?
Yes.
All right then.
Okay.
Give me sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand roll of 21.
Okay. Give me perception, Taral.
18.
All right.
Not terrible, but
no,
not enough.
Okay.
Yep.
Tell me something that would be in your pocket that I could have picked up.
Hang on. Do we see this?
Yeah. So what's going to happen here is basically because he's trying to prove a point clearly.
Okay.
So
let's say nothing that crazy, but a tinderbox. Let's just say.
Okay.
So
sure.
What would happen here, I imagine, is that he's going to be doing a classic misdirection where he will very likely start gabbling, just talking randomly, his hands moving all over the place to keep your eyes on the movement of his hands. And then when one hand is going up, as he gesticulates, the other hand will go in, slip into the pocket, grab the tinderbox and pull back out again.
Very much so. So one hand is going to go up, and I'm going to start gabbling with words along the lines of, okay, you see, we've been in the cave, and I've done things, and you will see the tinderbox appear in the right hand that was distracting you. And you see, I'm very good at taking things. Here, you can have this back. And I will hand it back to Taral.
Wait, that is mine. It's got my initials on it.
Yeah, it does. And a slight scratch underneath the T. I had a past. When I died, it was my present. So I am a thief. Very simply, very plainly, I am a very good thief. I may have stolen something from the Temple of the Raven Queen at one point.
I mean, at this
sold
point,
it to a museum and made quite a lot of money.
What was it?
A ring that she wore when she was human, or so it was told. Which makes me very uncomfortable when I realize that instead of this god who I thought was not real, actually may have existed and does exist, which means I stole something from her, and that is bad.
Well, I mean, this kind of jacks my theory, because if it is in fact the Raven Queen who has replaced mine and Rune's powers, and it is also her who has somehow managed to have us return, what? I mean, she can't be all that mad at you.
I think she's over it.
Back too.
Oh, yeah. I hope so, because I would really not like to die again. Yeah. Oh, scheiße.
So either my theory is wrong, or that ring you stole was never hers in the first place.
And that is possible.
Or the third option is that there's other things going on that we're not aware of. But
or the fourth option of I am a unwilling pawn that she will smite. And it has been, in that case, a very nice pleasure to have met all of you, and I will prepare myself for death again.
I mean, that is one way of looking at it, but well, consider this. Yes, the Raven Queen once was mortal, of course. We all know the stories. But when she ascended...
Well, I don't really know the stories. I just know that it was valuable and a museum wanted it, and that was my job. They paid me to go to places and steal things from people, and then I give it to them and they pay me more.
The point I'm trying to make is once someone becomes a god, these things, they become trivial. They don't matter. She doesn't care. I mean, I believe she doesn't care. And if she did care, maybe you wouldn't be standing here right now.
There are some very petty gods.
Exactly. If she was as petty and capricious as some of the other gods, then she could exact her revenge at any time. But I think she has bigger plans for you, as she has bigger plans for the rest of us.
Yeah, I hope so. Again, I will be perfectly plain with you. I am not a good person. I was not a good person. I stole from temples, very easily, mind. If this all gets fixed and everybody, maybe she should say to the temple to have some security, maybe, because wow, that was easy.
Fichte, I am going to stop you there. You say you are not a good person.
9.
I was a war skald for the Youth Terrace Dominion.
Do I know who they are?
Yeah, I mean, this is reasonably cool. I mean, this will be common knowledge in the same way that we know what North Korea is. Basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. You were a Nazi? Fuck.
Not of my volition.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you might not have been a good person either.
I was in a similar line of work as yourself. Well, it was more smuggling and shit like that, but I'm no angel.
Are we all terrible people, Taral?
All three of us just turned to Taral.
He's just looking quite wide-eyed, a bit like, I think in the grand scheme of things, I was actually quite a good fellow.
I will say this. I will say this. I never subscribed to the Uthterris belief system. I was, as you all know, they conscript, and I say that with like heavy quotation marks. They conscript anybody that is not of their race, but who they can utilize for their own purposes. And true. I did serve in the military, but it was not through choice. Although, when one does nothing, they often become complicit. So, I have my demons that I need to deal with. I allowed a lot of shit to happen on my watch, and well, when you fall in love with a daughter of the Dominion who also does not subscribe to their beliefs, it's kind of difficult to leave.
Rune, you don't have to explain yourself.
Taral butts in again and says, well, I say I was a good fellow, but I did steal that egg from that dragon. Maybe that's not quite so good, I suppose.
What color dragon was it?
Was it a bad dragon?
It was a big black one. Let's say
black bad dragon.
Full adult.
I mean,
maybe
sure.
even.
I mean, it's ballsy. I don't know about.
It's ballsy, but I mean, again, common knowledge is that chromatic dragons are at their core evil creatures. I mean, I'm not condoning infanticide or anything like that, but anything against a chromatic dragon cannot be seen as an act of evil, per se.
At this point, DM, do I feel any more presence from my companion? Or is it still eluding me?
It's definitely, it's actually weaker here than it was in the Underdark. None of you can see the shadow anymore. However, you can feel a very, very tenuous link.
Okay. At this point, I'll say, so maybe a chat with the Raven Queen fairly soon could answer a lot of our questions.
Yeah, okay. Forgive me if I'm not excited about that.
I mean, if you have the chance to outright ask the Raven Queen herself if she is offended by your acts, then it could be a good thing. And like I say, if she wanted you to pass on, plenty of opportunity for that to have happened so far.
Yeah, I suppose you are right.
Listen, I think we have been kept alive for a reason. I think Bonk found us for a reason. I think a lot of things happen for a reason. I'm still processing. I think this is going to hit me pretty hard when I've had a moment to sit down and really take it all in. But we shall see. Now, Bonk, I believe you were going to tell us a story.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, please do.
Right. Sleep first, story next, okay? I've told Snikt I'm here. We can go and have a rest now.
Sniktum.
Snikt. S-N-I-K-T.
Snikt. Okay.
As soon as Bonk starts talking, I want to try and get that tinderbox back again.
All right.
DM, question.
Oh, 1 second. Well, never mind.
For fuck's sake.
Wow.
I was about to say that it'll be rolled at disadvantage because I imagine Taral's going to be a bit more, aware. However,
with a natural 20 for a 37, and with disadvantage hitting 34,
I definitely can't beat that.
No.
I'm just gonna put a hand on the small of his back, and just flick the tinderbox with the other hand back to his face and say, "You should really keep a hold of this."
Give up.
I'm gonna give him a little wink, and just say, "I'm sorry. I just wanted to prove a point. I was a really good thief."
So it seemed. Just quickly, Mr. Bonk, you said this was the Twilight Court? Well, I mean, I knew of the Twilight Court before, and I see some resemblance of it, but was the rest of the Feywild ended up the same as this, or is it just this area?
That's complicated.
Oh no.
Because?
Answers, dear boy. Right. We need to rest. Rune, you look like you're about to say something?
Rune wasn't. Nadz
okay.
was.
Sorry.
Snicked, is he an alchemist, was he?
Well, he's surrounded by all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
Okay. I'm just trying to work out. Do you know what? He's there. Snicked.
Yes. Which one were you?
I'm Rune Fenris.
Bonk has said many good things about you.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Can I ask, are you a herbalist or an alchemist?
Yes.
Oh. That answers our anything else I need to know? What else is your special ability?
Make things. I make lots of things. I made the make Feywild water, not make you glow machine. It make the water drinkable so that you don't glow for days afterwards.
Ah, I see. So you are also a tinkerer.
I make things.
That is wonderful. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
Did you make the voice box for...
Yes, very, very intricate. Needed lots of different revisions before we're able to make that one work. The first few made her sound very strange indeed. We had a good laugh, but she was not amused.
Yeah, there is some issues we found
Wait.
with that one.
Wait, you made Nadia's voice box. Hello?
Was I not supposed to?
No. I am asking. You're the one that made this. Genius contraption. And Rune just bends over, clasps the sides of his head with both hands, leans his head forward, and kisses him on the top of the head, and says, "Snicked, you are a wonderful, wonderful kobold. Thank you so much."
He's visibly shaken.
I give him a hearty pat on the back and stand back.
He falls over.
You're gonna fucking flatten him.
He's tiny.
Bless him.
Only a baby.
He stands up and is like he kind of moves closer to Bonk, saying, "Bonk, your friends, they are very touchy. Not very happy with the touchy, but that's fine. It's fine. If you need..."
I'm sorry. I should have asked permission first, but emotion overtook me.
No, I understand. I'm sometimes the same. I have to do the thing, but I'm not used to the. Yes. But if you need things, you know what I am. You can come and speak to me, and I give you. If you find something that you can make out of something, then you bring it to me, and I will see if I can make something. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Snikt. It's very, very encouraging. You're wonderful.
Yes. So.
May have an idea or two to bring your way, Snikt, I think.
No, you bring. I like to make. I make things.
I'll just turn to Bonk and I'll say, "Oh, Bonk, you have done so very well."
Not as well as I could have, probably.
Do not put yourself down. Let's go rest and we'll talk about this.
Just before we leave, as we entered, did you describe that there was a blacksmith of sorts working at the end of the room?
Yes. He looked over when you entered, saw that Bonk was there, but that he went straight over to Snikt and has not yet.
Is there any of his work on display?
There's no weapons here. This appears to be mostly farm equipment, trowels and other such things. Same to you, buddy.
Okay, that's fine.
And so Snikt notices you looking over. Said, "Oh, my manners, where are they? Let me introduce, Oakenheart." And then, as he shouts over, you see the blacksmith kind of like his head drop and his shoulders kind of like,
Oh no.
"Yes, Snikt, I am aware that Father Bonk is home and he has brought friends. We do not need to talk." No. He has brought his friends. He's brought his friends. He has found the ones he was looking for. And at this, the blacksmith turns around. You see, as soon as he turns around, he's actually not exactly elderly, but definitely heading towards middle age. He's got brown hair. It's quite kind of brown eyes with kind of flecks of gold in them. Looking down as he brings his hands up, and he's dusting his hands off. You can see he's missing 2 fingers off of his left hand. He's like, "Well, Father Bonk, it is good to see you again. It was always a pleasure. Do you have anything you need me to make? Anything on the back order?" And Monk's like, "No. I had to come and see Snikt because you know how you know what he gets like. If I come back and I don't say hello first." And the blacksmith is like, "Yeah. Oh yes, no, I'm very aware what Snikt gets like."
What species is this chap?
It's human.
Human. Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, his name again, please?
It was Oakenheart.
Oakenheart.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm going to fall over in a minute if we don't go. So,
Right.
can we go?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Let's go.
You're right.
So,
Let's
Bonk-
go back to your.
Bonk goes to the doorway. He kind of holds the curtain to one side, and as you file out, he falls in behind you, Fichte, and leans down and puts his hand on your shoulder, quite heavily. Says, "Just so you're aware, we don't deal with thieves very well here. If anything goes missing, you'll be put back out into the world by yourself. Is that clear?"
Yeah, entirely.
Good.
This was only to demonstrate.
I'm sure we're all very impressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry, Daddy B. You'll behave yourself.
I'm sorry. Oh no.
Even the music didn't like that.
Yeah, the music was yeah. Oof.
Wow.
This taste.
Daddy B. As the creator of Bonk, I am wounded. My God.
Oof. Oh, that was special. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, that was...
That's getting clipped.
That's Christ.
Yeah, as you say this, Bonk looks over at you, Grey, and there's almost fear in his eyes. He's like, do not let people hear you say that. Do not. Do not let people hear you say that. I can just about deal with Father Bonk.
Yeah, well...
No. All right?
All right.
Oh,
Just
time stamp
we'll keep
an hour
it to
and
Bonk,
4 minutes. Whoa.
Bonk's fine. Oh.
Yes.
Right, let's...
So you make your way back through the...
I will whisper to Taral. You know I am just joking about stealing things, right? Keeping a wary eye on Bonk as I say this.
I hope so. I mean, yeah. If we want to be friends of any sort, then just keep it under control.
Yeah, friends is good. I will not. I will not anger the Bonk. And I will not lose your friendship so easily.
With that, you make your way back to Bonk's dirt domicile. He walks in, flops down on the bed. Nadia goes off to one area where a pile of blankets appears to have been kind of arranged in a nest, almost. He goes, yeah, sorry, I don't have guests very often. Yeah, I'll go and get some, something for you to lie on, hold on. And he kind of trudges back out again, leaving you alone in there with the Displacer Beast.
Whilst he's gone, I'm just going to look at Grey and the others and go, do any of you feel tired?
No.
No. I mean, let's put it this way. I currently don't feel the need for sleep, but I mean... Actually,
No.
out of character, do we need to sleep?
I believe that as Reborn, you need to have 4 hours of inactivity.
Yeah, our long rests are 4 hours.
Our long rests are 4 hours, but we do not need to sleep.
Yeah, it says deathless nature. I don't need to sleep, eat, drink, or breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
sleep
a long rest
is not necessary,
4 hours.
but rest is.
Yeah. And as I said, I currently have no need to rest, technically.
So you are currently missing an arm.
No, I thought I got that back from... Oh, did I not get that back from my short rest?
No.
Yes, you said a long rest. You're right. We only had a short rest. Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, your arm is all shadowy. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot about that.
For some reason, I thought I recovered it from the short rest, but no, he's right. It was a long rest. Okay. I would then like to... I will rest. Can I do something just before I do lay down to rest? Can I... I don't know whether I've had it with me or if I need to apparate it in my hands, but I'd like to see the sword.
Okay.
And I would now, with the inkling of a possible connection to the Raven Queen, can I just have a look over it again and see if I see any signs in its make and design that would kind of reinforce that theory?
Yeah. No. So with your previous blade, it was an actual physical blade. It looked like it had been forged at some point in the past. It was quite ornate, which was what drew you to it in the first place. This, however, is more like the idea of a sword.
Oh, so the entire thing. I understood like the blade was like almost like a... You're saying like the entire thing, including the hilt and the handle, is like a It's almost as if it's not there, like a negative space almost. Is that how
almost?
You
Yeah.
it?
It's kind of. I described it as if you shone starlight on a reflective surface and then took the reflective surface away. It's made up. It's made up of kind of glimmers and hints of its shape rather than like a hole cut in the air.
Like the finery of its design is kind of difficult to read, though. Then I guess
feeling it. I mean, because you can feel it in your hand. It has weight and it has presence. You can feel the hilt. You can feel what may almost be kind of wrapped leather around the hilt. You can feel the actual crossguard, not a classic cross, but more a circle that goes around it, almost like a katana, rather than a classic kind of Germanic sword. The blade, as well, as you run your hand along the edge of it, does feel slightly curved upwards.
Okay. All right. Having done that, I will not banish. What's the word? Just have it go away.
Dispel.
I make it go away. I will dispel it. Yeah, and I will lay down on the floor and put my arms across my chest and close my eyes.
Well, as you do this, Bonk returns with with 4 kind of straw stuffed mattresses over his shoulder. Like, oh, are you just going to sleep on the floor?
Oh, I wasn't aware that you had such pleasantries for guests. I mean, I'll take it.
I mean, that's literally what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to go and get something for you to sleep on.
Okay,
thank you.
Take it,
Bonk.
Yeah, so he just kind of chucks him down on the floor haphazardly. Walks over to his own bed and just. And
Herr Bonk? Are you having a nap, or are you going to bed for the night?
I'm going to sleep until I don't hurt anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
See you at some point then. Yeah.
Okay. So, within less than a minute, some very, very sonorous snores begin to fill the air. Nadia is curled up in the corner in her little nest of blankets. Are you all 4 bedding down?
Well, yeah, I mean, whether I know this or not, I technically need a long rest to get my hand back, so...
Yeah. I'm not going to sleep because I don't feel like I need it, but I am going to spend 4 hours in silent, completely still, inanimate meditation.
Yeah.
And during that time, my mind, whilst rested, is going to be trying to connect further with the Raven Queen. Not necessarily trying to contact her, just kind of trying to affirm that connection, and see if she will send me any visions or any information of how I can serve, essentially.
Okay.
Because I've been out of the loop for 20 years, apparently. And I need her to kind of like give me a bit of the lowdown on what's been going on at her end.
Okay. Fichte and Taral, what are you doing?
Go on.
No, you go.
So Taral would be very much the same, just motionless, just thinking, obviously running through his head, and anybody seeing him would see kind of a little bit of a worried look on his face. He's thinking very much about his hometown, his family, his parents, and what had become of them, and answers or questions racing through his head that he is eager to speak to Bonk about once he's awake. But, like I say, just resting, motionless.
Okay.
I think Fichte would probably end up taking off his armor and checking it and seeing if it needs cleaning or oiling or anything. Very, very light maintenance, and then at that point would probably just sit and watch everyone else and just kind of get a read of everyone else, and I don't know, maybe balance a knife on his finger for a little bit and keep himself lightly occupied, as he also feels no real reason to stop and rest and do anything, but realizes that he probably should.
Yeah, so as you all sit in various states of inactivity, you all feel your minds begin to drift. And by drift, I mean this in a literal sense. It's different for Grey, as he is attempting to purposely commune. Whereas the rest of you are almost along for the ride. Your consciousnesses, in your mind's eye begin to fly across blasted wastelands, going too quickly to see, before reaching the face of a cliff that Rune and Grey will recognize. But the point of view doesn't stop. It carries on going straight through the cliff, straight through into dark tunnels with black sand, through dripping caverns, through a large open space where a waterfall once ran. And at the back of this cavern, a lighthouse. As the point of view speeds towards this lighthouse, it goes in through the ornate door into a room far bigger than it should be, than it looked like from the outside. A checkered floor spreads out for infinity. Shadows become wings, become a cloak. A white dot appears and descends, the darkness flowing around it before a figure stands before you. And all of you at once hear a voice. You've been here before. Come see me.
Do we have do we have control of our consciousnesses? So can we go, or is it just Grey?
It's just it with the word me. It goes black again. You're back in your bodies, aware.
Okay.
For those of you in a trance state, you return to a trance state. For those of you who are just letting your your minds wander, you find yourself back where you were previously.
So is this the end of the long rest, or not yet?
So yes. So yeah, unless you guys want to do anything else, because obviously there's going to be 4 hours where Bonk is still sleeping and you guys are doing nothing. But if you don't want to do anything, then we will move to the end of that particular section.
It was just to know whether my hand is returned or not.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah. So after you kind of emerge from your trance states, you look down and your arm is as it was. Right.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, can I just sit up then? And assuming Rune has kind of awoken from his trance, I'll look over to him and... Did you just...
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We have
Taral?
to go back.
Fichte?
I heard something, but no relevance to what it was. Just you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Raven Queen. I think we definitely need to speak her. I'm just wondering if this would do the trick, and I will open my hand and show the Raven Queen token crystal that she actually once gave us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, it feels like a long time ago now. If I remember correctly, she said this was some kind of in case of emergency button.
Indeed.
And it kind of vague as to what it did. I think it was if we ever need her help, if we're ever in dire danger. But maybe this is a way to get direct contact with her.
Perhaps.
I honestly don't know. Maybe there is another way we could... I mean, assuming it still exists, possibly returning to the Cave of Lights, but then we'd have to ask Bonk whether that was actually even possible, if that even still
know exactly
exists.
where it was, so, I mean...
Yeah, but, I mean... I have no idea what sort of state the world is in that we left behind us.
It's very...
I guess Bonk is going to have to explain that to us, so...
Now, this may just be a silly hope. But the connection to my deity and yours has been severed. A connection to hers is alive, and the Cave of Lights was very difficult to find. Perhaps it just has not been found by, the people that brought about the end of the world. I think there may still be hope that it's still there and the way is open to us.
Possibly. Look, I don't know. I'm hoping Bonk is going to be able to answer at least some of these questions.
I'm sure he'll fill us in when he is able, when he's awake. But maybe we can walk around here and gather some information from the survivors, the refugees.
Do you want to ask them directly, or wait for Bonk's explanation first?
I think it might give us a better understanding of the situation at hand if we talk to the survivors, no?
Possibly.
We
might get a skewed... we might get a skewed point of view. I mean, they think he's a... God and Savior by the sounds of it.
There is that. Well, I mean, it might be fun just to find out why they think of him in such a way. I'm quite keen to hear why they call him Father Bonk.
I'm assuming he has... you know what he's like. He's probably just saved these people.
Yeah.
Brought
them
here. He saved them like he found us, I suppose.
The thing you need to know about Bonk is there's not a whole lot going on upstairs, but he has a very pure heart. He's good to people, and he will help anyone, I imagine, and I just gesture kind of generally around in a circular direction. I imagine that he has helped a lot of people.
He seems, as you say, pure of heart. He seems very focused on what he wants, while he does not seem to know what he wants or how to get it. And also very scary and could snap me like a twig.
That he could, for sure. But just trust that he's got a good heart. So,
I mean, he was quite.
He was a handful when we knew him, but he seems to have.
He is 8 foot tall and purple. He seems to have been a handful for a long time.
Yeah.
He seems to have grown to be an even bigger handful from when you last met him, it seems.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I shudder to think of what he's capable now.
On the subject of going out and talking to people, I would like to decline this offer and not get myself in trouble.
Temptation too much for you, huh?
9, but if people know my reputations and accusations can be thrown out, and that would not end well for me. When a large bugbear has very severely warned me about what happens if people are stealing things.
If you're worried, just keep it yourself and keep your hands to yourself. I mean,
oh no, that is easy. I only steal what I want to steal. I have none of this compulsion that I cannot control.
Well, then we should be fine.
Even so, I shall stay with Bonk. But if you want to leave and explore, please do go ahead.
I look to Rune and say, I mean, I'm not bothered either way, but if you want to go outside and ask the common folk, then by all means.
Yeah, I think it's a worthy activity, if not for just my own amusement. And Rune will just stand up and he'll just. I'm not going to roleplay it, obviously, because it'll take for fucking ever. But he is going to walk around the immediate vicinity of the camp and just get a general idea of what people think of Bonk and where this whole father thing came from.
Okay. So you step outside, and what you would immediately notice is that it is still twilight.
Okay.
Despite being 4 hours later. And you step outside, and a small gathering of people is waiting. And they, as soon as the curtain goes opens, they kind of half stand up, and see it's not Bonk, and be like, oh, okay. And then, as you approach them and you start to engage them in conversation, they warm up to you a bit more, and they say, "Oh, you clearly you are most blessed to be sleeping in the house with Father Bonk." And everyone nods around them, and you ask your questions like, why is he called Father Bonk? I say, well, that's what everyone calls him. When I got here, there was already a lot of people here, and they were already calling him Father Bonk. And then it kind of you start trying to work your way through the people to see who has been here longest. In the amount of time that you have, you're trying to figure out, so who was here before you were? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah was here before I was. Okay, so blah, blah, blah was here. Why do you call him Father Bonk? And they're like, well, it's just what we've always done. Why, and he looks after us. Why?
Nobody knows.
Why are you questioning this, stranger?
Oh, no.
Let us see how successful you are.
Okay.
Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, here we go. That is. Oh well, that's an 18.
That's pretty damn good.
Modifier is 0, so that is a straight roll of 18.
Very good. All right. So after asking around a bit, you just happen to speak to the right person, and they're like, actually, Kipper was here before I was, and I think that he might have been one of the first people here, actually. And
What's his name? Sorry?
Kipper.
Kipper.
Yeah. And so they kind of point you. Yeah, sorry, you need to go down past that tent there. No, not that tent. The other tent. No, the tent with the one with the bit outside. Okay. So after a bit more explaining of where you need to go, you get directed to one of the tents which is closer to the tree.
Figures.
And as you approach, you're asking about, you've seen Kipper and all that stuff. So eventually you are brought to a half-orc. Reasonably tall and thin for a half-orc, but clearly a half-orc nonetheless. Bald head, blue eyes, very odd for a for half-orc. And you ask questions of why I hear you've been here for a while. He's like, yeah, I was one of the first ones who was picked up. I was quite lucky. And you ask your questions. Why is he called Father Bonk? And, that's what Nadia calls him. So that's what I started calling him.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Who? I mean, obviously he's just brought you. I saw you arrive. He seemed quite familiar with you. Normally, when people arrive here, they're terrified and just need to be looked after. But you guys seem to be. You know him already?
Well, Bonk and I, we have history. Yes. We knew him before the apparent end of days.
You knew him before?
I have a feeling that this might be a longer conversation than I have time for, but yes, we knew him before.
You're a disciple?
My name is Rune. Fenris.
Disciple Rune Fenris. I will tell everyone that you are here as a messenger and that you are to be afforded anything that you need. Anything you need.
Well, I am not a messenger per se. I am just a man.
His eyes have already glazed over and he is already heading back into his tent.
This is not... No. Oh no. Okay. Alright, okay. I'm going to leave. I'll go back to where my friends are, and I say, just don't talk to anyone. Don't talk to anyone. They will get the wrong end of the stick. You will end up becoming some kind of legendary weird figure. Let's just don't say you know him, okay? Just say you were rescued like everyone else.
I mean, that is my story.
Very true.
That's a good point. Specifically aiming my comments at Gray.
You know me. I'm not going to go talk to anybody anyway. So
yeah, that's fair. I mentioned I knew him before times, and the guy immediately named me disciple and went all a little bit culty.
It's not the worst thing.
I know, but I've seen that look before. It's never healthy, is it? Yeah. I mean, okay. Maybe we just wait until Bonk wakes up and then we can get a lay of the land. I imagine that he is ill-equipped to deal with the fame thrust upon him.
Okay, and with that, having been out and about for a fair old while, and coming back and explaining the situation to your new comrades, there is a snuffle and a snort from the bed as Bonk sits up. Oh, it's amazing what a good sleep can do for you.
Is he still injured at all?
No. I mean, that was a long rest, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. In game terms, obviously, but you know, in the world, he's feeling much better now. Thank you very much. So he sits on the edge of his bed. He's like, right. So, answers.
Please.
Okay, well, I guess I need to start at the beginning. And so, going forward, I'm going to do this in my own voice. Not Bonk's, because, yeah, this could get quite a bit of verbiage going on.
Info dump.
Yeah. So
all the words.
The Bonk begins to speak. And as he speaks, as his story unfolds, as you watch him, as you look at him as he's speaking, images of what he describes begin to coalesce in the air in front of him. And you get the impression of what he saw or what he felt at the time. So, Bonk ran. He ran from the final battle that felled Rickol and Rune and Grey with Nadia, the kitten at the time. Made his way back to the beach of the island where the Princess 4 was still waiting, and swimming back out to that ship, made his way back to the mainland. He explained what had happened to the crew, and he began to make his way back to Britha Tower to explain what had happened. However, during this time, as the days passed, the curse began to take stronger hold of him, and he began to lose himself more. Every passing day, the purple fur would spread, the horns would begin to grow. And by the time he reached Britha Tower, he didn't enter the city. He instead went south to the tree that the Phoenix 4 had found previously. And as such, he wasn't there mentally or physically when the world ended. He had vague recollections of some sort of calamity occurring. The sky churning as unimaginable beings battled in the skies. The ground underfoot shifting and warping like sands in the tide. But he had no care. He had one imperative, which was to get to the tree, which, as you may remember, was destroyed when the Phoenix 4 found it previously. But entering the cavern, finding the remains of the tree, he took his axe and willed it back. The tree wasn't completely dead. Most of it obviously had been destroyed. I think, well, I can't actually remember how you destroyed it, but it was a burnt out husk, but a glimmer of life remained in it, and the presence of the axe was enough to bring it back. How long this took is unknown. However, as he eventually was able to bring it back enough to enter it and open the gate with Nadia at his side, he emerged into what had been the Feywild, but was now no longer. Essentially, just a small patch of land with the tree set upon it. The tree, having an anchor in the prime material, had allowed itself to be saved, when the Feywild had been scourged.
Ooh.
And so he sat. He hit the curse not knowing what to do. He had fulfilled its purpose. He had returned to the Feywild. That is what the curse of the axe had him do. And so here he was. Nadia, with him, his only companion, as they sat here, essentially floating in darkness. An unknown amount of time later, he eventually returned to himself, his will overcoming that of the axe. And through experimentation found that he had control over this place. He felt that he needed, that there should be more land here than there was. He felt that there should be rivers. So there is now. This place appeared to have been the stuff of raw reality, needing shape, and his being the only will here, it fit his shape. He now basically was the master of the Feywild, or the Twilight Court at the very least. However, not being the smartest creature, he didn't really know what else he needed to do here. He had this land, he had a world, essentially. But it was just him and Nadia. Experimenting with the tree and the axe, he found that he could open portals. And so, not knowing where he would go, he opened a portal and stepped through. Back into the real world. This time, a tree was growing out the side of a mountain. And the landscape that he saw before him was nothing short of hell. Blasted wastelands, caverns, or canyons with lava, rivers of blood, or congealed other horrible substances. This was not the world that he left, that he remembered. Exploring around, he found nothing but waste, death, no living things, no trees, no birds, no animals, just a blasted, blighted wasteland. Exploring further, heading down the mountain, finding hellish constructs were towering into the sky, seemingly made of black iron or twisted bone. The sky itself was... The sun was completely obscured. Just a roiling mass of black and red clouds, perpetual gloom hanging over everything. It didn't matter how long he was there for, the sun never rose. It was just darkness and black. Decay, just pools of rotten ichor, disgusting trees seemingly made of human flesh. The smell of sulfur and corruption in the air, the acrid tang of an infected wound a continent wide. It was vile, disgusting. The tree gate behind him was the only fresh living thing that could be seen for miles. He ventured out a little, making his way further along, rather than down or up, and trying to determine if this hellscape covered the whole land or just this area. An hour into his journey, Nadia's ears pricked up, pointing him further down the mountain. Heading down, he found a ragtag group of what were clearly peasants or civilians being set upon by creatures clad in black armor. A little larger than orcs, but they had much paler skins and black soulless eyes. And this was something that Bonk knew how to deal with. There was no question here of what needed to be done. The axe came out. The bodies went down. Simple. Not a problem. They fought hard and well, though, and he was more than a bit rusty. The people he was trying to save pitched in, and once they had decided he wasn't actually there to eat them for himself, rather than the things that were chasing them, they actually decided to help. Once the battle was over, he took stock. 2 female humans with a young boy, a male bronze dragonborn, and a male dwarf. He smiled at the dwarf, his mere presence reminding him of better, less complicated times. Greeting him, so, by Moradin, it is good to see you, my friend. The dwarf winced at the mention of the gods of the Hammer of the Anvil, before resorting angrily. Do you mock me by saying his name, you big purple bastard? He's gone, same as all the good ones. Don't you twist the knife in my heart by invoking them who can't no longer help us. Bonk was, of course, confused by this response, but then everything was confusing at this time. Asking where the group was headed, they confessed that they didn't actually have a destination, they were just running. Because where else? What else could they do? It was either that or lay down and die. And as they spoke, an immense shadow passed overhead, black even against the darkness of the red and black sky. Fetid mists of acrid smoke trailing behind it. And as it disappeared back into the gloom, Bonk made the only decision he could think of, which was, well, the only safe place he knew was the Twilight Court. So he took them there, through the tree, after a bit of convincing that, no, this was not a trick that was going to end up with everyone being eaten by a tree. They were rescued, taken back to the Feywild. And as they stepped out into this land, and as Bonk realised that they would need materials to make things with, trees began to grow, bushes began to flourish. The realm was reacting in such a way that made it seem almost sentient, and was keen to have living beings walking on its grounds again. The group, having fed themselves and cleaned themselves in a newly formed river, and glowing slightly, because no matter what you decide that you need in the Feywild, it will always be slightly tricksy. The group sat with Bonk in the shade of the great tree and explained what they knew. At the time, it had been 2 years since the event that had come to be known as Armageddon. Most are calling it just the end of the world. From what anyone knew, a dark god had broken free of his prison and forced his way through the walls of reality into Vehryn. He had manifested somewhere beneath Armus Rex, taking on an immense form and literally bursting through the city. The city which had been considered by everyone to be impenetrable due to the fact that it was in a bowl surrounded by enormous mountains forged by a meteorite strike back in the beginning of time. However, it was shattered from beneath as an enormous titan burst through it. The sheer destruction would have been enough to send a nation into a state of panic, but the Dark God was just the beginning. Whatever fell portal he emerged from remained open, and other gods and their minions emerged into the prime material en masse. They immediately set upon the land, rending and tearing their way through every single living thing that they could reach. This, it was theorized though, was a ploy. Something to goad the more benevolent gods into taking action. And in scenes that would cause most mortal minds to crumble under the sheer immensity, from the heavens ascended Platinum Bahamut, the Thunderous Cord, Peaceful Eldath, Shining Lathander, Courageous Torm, Stern Moradin, and Smiling Tiroma. It was a sight that mortals were not meant to see. Many were driven mad by the sheer enormity of the events that was transpiring before them. the gods were joined in battle in the prime material. Things like this had not been seen since the beginning of time. But here it was, in the modern age, gods doing battle in the skies. Celestial blood being spilled onto the ground. Every single living thing in the world felt every blow, every parry. But the battle was not only fought on this plane, but other unseen places. And in the end, those good gods were overwhelmed, and their kingdoms of heaven were sacked and pillaged. Clerics and paladins of the world over felt their gods die, and were either driven mad, or driven to end their own lives as a result. From there, it had been nothing but an orgy of death and destruction for 2 long years. The ground continuously quakes, as if it too is afraid of what is happening on its soil. People of all species are hunted for food and sport by creatures whose mere appearance drive mortals mad. By demons, fiends, and worse. Bonk listened to this tale, and his heart sank, for he knew the name of the Dark God, even if his new wars refused to name him. Zon Kuthon. Released as a result of the Phoenix Four's failure to stop him. And with the rest of them gone, the responsibility lay on his broad, rapidly purpling shoulders. He realized his purpose now, and could guess what's happened here. The divine battle had been waged across multiple planes, and it looked like the Feywild had been a casualty. Either that, or Zon himself had destroyed it, for whatever reason, potentially to prevent this very thing from happening, and a haven being created away from his baleful gaze. The Twilight Court is the only piece left that he knows about, mainly due to it being anchored to the obsidian axe in the prime material when the Feywild was destroyed. So Bonk swore to save as many people as possible, no matter their race, save as many as he could by giving them refuge here in his new Twilight Court. And so he set about his new task, and has been carrying it on for the last 20 years.
Jesus.
So, yeah, as he has learnt his new abilities, he has found that he can actually take a twig from the prime tree, and take it into the prime material, and plant it to create a gate. However, it takes 2 hours to grow, but as long as he's careful, then he can create his own little back door whenever he goes out into the prime material to look for refugees. However, there are still previously existing trees scattered all over the world, some of them now in odd places, because as Bonk says, when he has been back in the prime material, he has a very good sense of where he is, especially if he's underground. But things are not the same as they once were. Things have changed a lot in the landscape of the world. And the only thing that he has now is rescuing people, and the entire time looking for signs that you, Rune, Rickle, and Grey may still be out there somewhere. And, so that's kind of where we are now.
What about the artifact?
Which artifact do you mean?
The eye.
Oh, yeah, the eye. So, funny story. I was out on a run looking for people, and I came across what looked like a travelling pie, which is not something that happens these days. People don't travel because people are usually eaten. But this was clearly some sort of party that was travelling somewhere. Now, they had been massacred, all of them, to a man. Except the guy that you saw lying in Snick's house. And after going through their stuff, because, you know, I'm not going to leave stuff lying around, especially when I can bring it back, I found he was carrying the eye of the beholder in a chainmail bag. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't seem like much of a coincidence to me.
No, not at all. Just before I forget, the man that was laying in the room with the kobold, he didn't bear any resemblance to the man that actually sent us on the mission to find that item.
No, that was I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now.
Relvas Glinkum.
That the one?
Yeah.
That the one. I speak good England. Yes, that was the one. No, he was quite
Dragonborn, if I remember rightly.
I
No,
Don't think he was.
No,
he was human,
No.
but he was quite elderly.
okay.
I was a human, was he?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think.
Sorry.
I think he was.
that's how I remember him.
Probably. Either human.
It's a very gnomish name, that's all.
But yes, the chap currently lying in Snick's workshop is actually quite young.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems like a massive coincidence if that's what it's supposed to be.
If anyone is looking around at the group, they would see that Rune's eyes have glazed over, and he almost looks defeated. He's kneeling there, listening. Well, he was listening to the story, but now he just looks like his eyes are down, and he's kind of looking into the middle distance. His shoulders are slumped. This is not characteristic Rune. And he is completely silent.
Bonk, was there any mention of Shillin?
I have not come across anyone mentioning Shellin for a very long time. And with a natural 20, Bonk will notice, Rune, that you are looking very down, and he will kneel in front of you and put his hand on your shoulder. So, Rune, I know, alright? I know what you're feeling. I felt that for a long, long time. Alright? I have carried the guilt of being the last one left for longer than I can remember. But you can't blame yourself. What happened. And this is where we are.
Rune kind of raises his eyes to look at Bonks, but doesn't really say anything.
Oh no, buddy.
Yes, if I may.
Yes, Fichte.
All of these gods you mentioned, what does the Raven Queen fit into this?
I have not had dealings with the Raven Queen directly. People here sometimes die of old age, or if they're particularly sick and we can't save them. And as far as I'm aware, what should happen happens. They die, and they go off to wherever. No one here, as far as I'm aware, is a worshipper of her or offers up tribute or anything like that. As far as I'm concerned, death is a thing that happens. And from the accounts that I've had from the people who I've saved, it doesn't look like she was part of the final battle. However, a lot of the people here have admitted that when they were out there in the world by themselves, that they had been praying to her to either deliver them or just to make it end. as people do when they get desperate. But no one ever received a reply.
Then why did she talk to us?
Well, there we go. Now you know. You know everything that I do.
Herr Bonk, you have been through an ordeal.
Well, I mean, I think you could probably say the whole world's been through an ordeal. What's left of it, anyway.
But you are doing something right.
I'm just trying to make up for it. Is all.
You are better than I.
Oh.
And I respect that.
Question, I suppose, is what next? I mean, are we brought back to help Bonk do more of what he's doing, or is there something more?
I mean, you are, of course, welcome to stay here. It'll be nice if you wanted to come out on runs with me to, rescue people or find supplies and stuff like that. I mean, I grow stuff here for people as we need it, but sometimes things are buried deep that can be useful.
And let me know, Bonk. Originating from the Feywild myself, the passage of time between the Prime-Material Plane and the Feywild is sometimes, well, very funky to say the least. But
funky, I'd say, yeah.
I've known weeks, months, years to pass in what feels like just a day or two here. Is this still the same, or has this been disrupted?
I have absolutely no idea, if I'm honest, because it's very difficult to know what time it is in the Prime Material, because you can't see the sun. And as for sorry?
There is no sun?
Well, you can't see it. I don't know if it's there, but from every time I've been there, the sky is black with like weird redness in it. I've not seen the sun in the Prime Material for a very, very long time. Oh, fuck. Hold on a minute. And he stands up and steps outside. And as soon as he pulls the curtain back, everyone who's been waiting for him outside stands up.
Oh no!
I told you. Anyway, sorry. Right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I realise I missed it. Right, hold on a minute. And you see him stand there in the doorway, and he takes his axe and he holds it. And the sky moves from twilight to actual night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go. All right. Very sorry, everybody. I'll try and remember. Just remind me. All right. I just go to bed. All right. All of you go. All right. Just go. And he steps back inside. He's, oh, sorry. Yeah. No. Unfortunately, the kind of default setting of this place is twilight. It's always twilight, unless I concentrate. And people tend to not be able to sleep very well if it's constantly light outside. So I make it night when I go to bed normally, but I kind of forgot. So I needed to do that.
Awesome.
Oh, I so badly wanted to do something, but it wouldn't have been in character right now.
That is another thing, by the way. I can't be away from here for too long. I don't know how long exactly, because it's difficult to tell the time, but I try not to stay away for too long, because the few times I have, things start to get a bit weird here.
What do you mean by weird? Define weird, Bonk.
Well, I mean,
there's been a lot of weird lately.
Yeah, it's already pretty fucking weird. So.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. Yes, yeah, I do apologise. Yeah, so bits of the land start to kind of sort of disappear.
Oh.
trees might start to like come up in places where they shouldn't, like underneath people's tents, for instance. You know, it kind of upsets people a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah, no, I try not to stay away for too long.
So the very existence of this place relies on your presence.
Possibly.
And you wonder why the people worship you, Bonk.
I mean, I just do what I need to do.
I know. I'm just being facetious. Yeah. I mean,
So we have
I don't know.
two choices, I guess. We help you, or we search for the Raven Queen to talk to us and tell us what she wants.
I mean, I don't even know what we can even do at this point, what we can achieve. Part of me would just be quite happy to sit down in the corner and die, but I somehow don't feel like that's gonna be possible. So maybe we should find the Raven Queen. She might be able to give us some answers.
I can say that dying once was enough for me. I'd rather not do that again.
Really? I found it quite pleasant.
Edgelord. Out of character, sorry.
9. Painful and unfulfilling. I'd like to die when I am old, with a family, with a home, with stories to tell, not alone in a cave.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is going to be possible.
Oh no, 9. This is a dream. Now that dream is fucked.
Yeah, this is more like a nightmare. Bonk, did you say you can take us roughly anywhere we need to go?
Well, within reason, there needs to be a tree.
I'll turn to Rune. Do you remember the name of the island we went to? With the Cave of Lights?
At this point,
was it an island?
Notice that Rune hasn't been present in the conversation. He's his eyes are now closed, and I don't know how physically this would work because technically his body is dead,
right?
But there are tears streaming down the side of his face. It's like old blood that hasn't been moving for years, so it's kind of coagulated. And it is there's tears are streaming, and he's muttering something under his breath. And anyone who is listening closely will hear 3 names being uttered. The first one is Isbeth. The second one is Ilona. And the third one is, where's it gone? Skobar. And as he mutters them, his fists are clenched into balls, and they're getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and blood is starting to fall from the palms of his hands onto the floor as his nails dig into his palms as his fists get tighter. He doesn't seem to be present right now.
I don't know what position I was currently in, whether I was sitting or standing, but I would move closer to Rune now. Close enough so that he notices my presence, even if that means walking up to him and kneeling down and putting my hand on his shoulder. At which point I'll just say, Rune.
Kind of. It doesn't, like... He seems to snap out of something and slowly looks up to meet your gaze. And for a second it looks like he's trying to realise where he is. His eyes focus on your face. And he just says, I failed them all. I failed them all. I cannot get my vengeance. I cannot lay them to rest. The memories of them are gone. It's gone.
What's gone? Your memories have gone, or?
Any opportunity to avenge all that I've lost, all that they took from me. The Dominion will now never pay because that has been taken from me. The chance to do something. It seems as though all of the information that Bonk has given has been very overwhelming, and he's almost coming to terms with 20 years of developments in real time. It's just all flooding his mind, and his shoulders start to kind of bob uncontrollably, and he's sobbing.
Rune, please look at me.
And he kind of looks up at you.
I'm not going to pretend to understand what you're going through, and I'm going to have to make some assumptions here. I'm assuming that you have lost some people that were close to you, and I'm assuming that was done by people that you wish to find and reenact some sort of revenge upon. Am I on the right track?
Yeah. He can't really speak, but he does nod.
So whoever these people were, out in the real world, which no longer really exists, they've already met this demise that you wished for. They probably died horrible deaths in pain, which is what you wanted. What you've actually lost is the opportunity to do that yourself. What you were actually looking for was to cause pain to these people. So if you're honest with yourself, who was that for? Was that for the people you lost? Or was that for yourself?
It takes a moment and refocuses, and in quite a quiet voice he says, if I'm honest, probably a little of both.
I think revenge is very much never turns out the way you want it to be. It's a very hollow victory sometimes, and I think the passion and the energy you have, we divert it elsewhere and see if there's any way we can try to rectify some of these problems.
Kind of slowly looks at you and then looks at Taral and Bonk in turn, and then unclenches his fists and kind of uses his forearm to wipe his eyes and seems to come to some kind of decision, and then slowly stands up and says, "Then, by the Raven Queen, my vengeance must be paid forward. I may not be able to take revenge on the people of my past, but by her will, I will avenge the world that they were taken from." And he picks up his pack and kind of nods to everyone and walks out. And if anyone kind of looks after him, he starts walking towards the tent where the blacksmith resides.
Okay. Bonk will begin to follow him.
Where does he think he's going?
I don't know. Let's see what he's thinking. And I'll stand up and seeing as Bonk has left the tent, I will not. It's not a tent, is it? It's a mound. Seeing as Bonk has left, I will follow.
Follow.
Yeah, I'll quickly pull on my armor that I'd taken off, and I'll follow as well.
What are you up to, Rune?
Yeah, goes to the. It was a tent, wasn't it? Was it a tent or a hut?
It was actually an actual. It's one of the few stone buildings here. Yeah, it's a long haul kind of almost.
Okay, and sorry, the guys. I'm sure I wrote it. Oh yes, Oakenheart, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay. He kind of walks in without really announcing himself. He's kind of gone into a weird kind of single-minded state, and walks up to the chap and kind of drops a sword at his feet. It's the long sword that Rune's been using this whole time. And then he there's around his neck there are two things around Rune's neck that people wouldn't have seen before. Even Bonk and Grey might not have seen before. One was a symbol of cord, and the other was a really, really pretty, just a trinket, like a necklace, elven crafted. And he snaps them both off and throws them on the on top of the sword. And he says to Oakenheart, not even saying hello, he says, "You and I, we have work to do. Where are your tools?"
And I think that is a good place to end it for this evening. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good kind of ending line. So yeah, so we'll work that out between us, Nadz.
Okay.
What you want to do there? I mean, it's not a great deal, so it should be fine. So there we go. Thank you very much, guys, for listening to me fucking ramble on for like an hour and a half.
No, Fantastic description.
Needed. Very needed.
That was
the lore dump.
a much needed lore dump session. We needed that. We needed to know what the fuck was going on.
There we go. So, yes, revelations have been had. But still a few things hanging in the air there, I think. So, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and watching. That's it for this evening. And we'll be back next week for more. Well, whatever's going to happen, it's all up in the air now.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Great.
Excellent. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. And so yeah, one final thing. Don't be a dick.
Be a dick.
Don't be a dick!
We'll get it next time. It's fine.
We will never get it because the internet has lag.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Everybody.
Cheerio, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Of magic and might, with crypts full of cryptids and caverns of light, and evil is lurking, hungry to conquer the land. We're a long come for heroes, ready to march out to war, destined for greatness, fighting like never before. Nothing can damper the spirits or shatter their